considering how many entries we had in the beginning. Be proud. But my fourth place is Scott.
Okay. And your reason?
I just, when I listen back to the other songs, and you know what? I wanted to wipe the slate clean with Scott. I didn't want my previous decisions to influence my decision on this particular round, even though I did take some of it into consideration. I do feel he grew as an artist. He showed me what I wanted to see, but there are still things in there that I just feel if he would go to a professional vocal coach, I think he could really clean them up a lot more, make it a lot stronger, really find where he is as an artist and bring it out even better than he did. There's just still some really raw quality. He's got a great raw talent, but he's got to tone it just a little bit to make that raw talent a little more polished. And I think that a few of the other contestants were a lot farther along than he is.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna say if I agree with you yet.
Of course you don't. So why do we...
So next person to vote is Mark, actually. No. It's me, actually. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I'm just writing in your votes here in case we need to count afterwards.
All right. We will because of Mark.
Yeah. Okay, so my fourth place. Based off of this episode alone, I would probably place Scott third, but combined with his body of work, I have to put him at number 4. At this point, he is the least winner-like to me because he is the least trained, and he has too of an uneven journey and not much improvement, except the finale, but at that point it was too little too late. I'm sorry, Scott, I love you, but someone has to go there.
Oh, so we kind of did agree in a little way.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, there we go. See, we're ending it on a positive note. You and I agree. Aww.
And now Mark's gonna be dramatic.
Of course.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be one of these if it wasn't, would it? It's one of those. But not this time around. My fourth place also goes to Scott. My biggest reason for it is that he kind of took an L in my eyes in the 2 rounds that he should have really delivered for us in the rock round, and then the other time he got the chance to put a rocky kind of song in. Judge's choice, I think. And he had 2 big opportunities, and he kind of overcooked it and showed off a bit too much when he could have just sat comfortably and played it safe, in inverted commas, but actually done a really good job with those. That was my main factor, but I will end by saying that I was very pleased that I fought to keep Scott in during those early stages when he could have gone walkies, and very pleased with what he's done. And this final entry in particular is a sign that he is a great contestant and very deserving of a spot in this final, but maybe just one step too far, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did you say he could have gone walkies?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I say when I would say to my dog, you want to go walkies? Come on, let's go walkies. I don't know why it struck me as funny. Oh.
Okay.
Oof. All right, so now we're at 3.
Where's the twist gonna be? Oh no. Okay.
It's gonna be number 1.
No, now it's for number 3. And the first person to vote is number 3, and that's me. Okay. Okay. My third place goes to Kelsey, because I think she was stronger in the beginning of the competition. Except for the rock round, there she was absolutely amazing. In the beginning of the competition, I actually saw her being in the top 2, but others throughout the competition have proved themselves and improved enough to beat her. She has an absolutely magical voice, like I said, but she doesn't have a magical journey. So that's my simple reason. Sorry, Kelsey, I love you. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat myself. No, I'm done.
Okay.
Next person to vote is Mark, actually.
Mark, yes!
Is everyone ready for that plot twist?
Oh God.
No, don't do it.
So, my third place, and I thought long and hard about this. My order before the final entries came in, I had a pretty good idea of what that was going to be. And then the final entries came in and everyone stayed where I thought they were going to. And I've gone backwards and forwards about this a lot, and I've listened to a lot of entries just to kind of make sure that I am straight in my mind about wanting to do this and put this person where I have. And I feel like I have a justified reason to. Benefit of having 3 judges is that you guys can step in if you think this is the wrong move. But there you go. My third place goes to Nathaniel.
Oh!
Plot twist? Question mark?
My God!
That actually, you should be going to jail right now. I mean...
Oh, I really did.
That's not a plot twist. That's illegal, but we'll talk about it later.
Not even for you, Mark. I didn't see that coming. But okay. Okay, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess I'd better justify this one then, hadn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so something in Nathaniel's introduction to his last entry kind of hammered home a bit of a point where he's saying that he's trying to show his versatility to us and working so hard on that. And I'm looking at some of our other contestants that have gone out that we've liked, but I think for the right reasons they've gone out early, like Gabriel and like Trinity, who are super true to who they are as artists, even if it means that they're not necessarily going to progress that well in this competition. And I think whatever happens with Nathaniel in his final place and where you guys vote, I kind of want these words to ring true. Nathaniel Kostica being Nathaniel Kostica is better than Nathaniel Kostica trying to be someone else. And I think that kind of comes up a little bit in his Pavarotti entry. It came up a lot in the Holy Diver entry, and with the Diedrich Solitangen, sorry for pronunciation, not so much there, but if he wasn't so true to the original and he put his own spin on that, he could have escalated that song to the next level and made it something different. But he is just trying a little too hard to be true to the artist, when actually the skills that he has and the unique talents that he has to his voice is something that he should be ramming down our throats every single time he sings, because that is worth something. And I feel like he hasn't shown that enough to us in this competition, and that's the reason why I've made those, or I've put him where I have.
Okay, I wonder if we should argue that now or when everyone has voted. I guess we're just gonna wait until everyone has voted.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll argue at the end, because it might not make any odds anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next yeah, it's you, Andrea. You're the...
Yeah, it's you. Well, my third place is Kelsey.
Okay.
And pretty much for a lot of the reasons that Petri already said. I absolutely adore Kelsey. I think she has a lot of talent. And I just think that when you look at the accumulative work leading up to now, and then just even just now, I appreciate the song that she put forward. I appreciate all of the work that she put into it, and I love her voice. I just think that there could have been, especially for finale, there could have been more. And I think that that's one thing that I've said throughout the competition is she's got a lovely voice, but there could be more. There could be more, sometimes more dynamic, sometimes more emotion. Sometimes, it's kind of like, do I think she has an absolutely great talent? Yes. Do I think that this was winning the finale talent? It could be if she just worked on it a little bit more and polished everything up more. So I put Kelsey in third.
Okay, now for the hard one. Number one.
We didn't do number two though.
No, but if we do number one, we know who.
Oh, then yeah, okay. All right, yeah, number one. Okay.
Yeah. So the first one to vote is not me. Andrea, actually.
Why is it? I think you're doing that on purpose.
No,
twice in a row. Come on.
I can send you the receipt.
You know what? It's okay. I'll say it loud and proud. My number one is Nathaniel, and it's for like the opposite reason of Mark, who absolutely knows nothing about what he's talking about. No, I'm just kidding. My reason is because I actually do see a lot of Nathaniel in the various entries that he's given us, and I mean, maybe it's very close to, like, maybe he's trying to stay true to the actual material, but I can still hear in his voice a bit of himself, and he is showing us versatility. He is showing us that he can do a lot of different things, and not just do them, but do them well, and do them with enough passion and emotion to show that he really believes in the entries that he's given us. He believes in the song. He believes in his talent. He's got the confidence. He has the voice. He's got the polished sound, and I really do think that I've heard a lot of Nathaniel in each of his entries, and I really love the fact that he took a huge risk doing something that really hasn't been done on the show before for a finale, and bringing us opera and doing it in a way that gave me chills, and I think he deserves first place.
Okay, next person to vote is me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let me just take a glass of water.
Oh God, jeez, he's really milking this one.
Yeah, because this is the big moment, guys. Okay, here we go. So, for the majority of the season, I honestly couldn't see myself voting anything other than Nathaniel in the end, because he has that level of training that I don't hear in anyone else. And then Heather happened. She went from forgettable to, okay, there's some potential here, to, oh my god, solid artist, chills up the spine and feels. I really fell in love with that cool quality she has in her voice and that interesting timbre. And honestly, when I heard Wild Horses, I no, sorry, I gotta take pause. Oops, sorry. Yeah, anyway.
Did you just belch during a big reveal?
I'm sorry, I always do that when I'm nervous.
Oh my god.
I always stutter so much when I'm nervous, and then I have to belch.
Yes, but belching? I can say stuttering, but you belched, and this is a huge moment.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut that. No one else has to know.
No, you're not gonna cut that. That's gotta go in.
In the bloopers, maybe. Okay, let me continue. Honestly, when I heard her Wild Horses song, I just thought she just won the competition. Like, if you can make me cry, you win the competition. That's it. As far as Nathaniel goes, in a couple of rounds, I didn't feel like he was giving it his all. Like, I'm thinking about the second qualification round and the group round mainly, and even the 80s round, I think it was. Yes, that with the Cyndi Lauper song. I actually didn't vote him top performance that round, because those were two soft songs, and those can work as an artist, but not for a singing competition where you're trying to win, because you really have to showcase all you've got, and those didn't do it for me. But still, he's the most consistent, most versatile, and he has the best voice. He is the winner.
But you didn't put him in number 1, so he wouldn't be the winner unless...
Yes, I did put him in number 1. Aren't you paying attention?
No, because I got stuck on your belching.
I ruined the final deliberation. Great work, Petri. I can't believe I just did that. I'm sorry.
No, because I kept hearing you talk about
Oh god.
To be perfectly honest, though,
can we redo this?
No, I'll be perfectly honest. I tuned out a little bit because it sounded like you were going to give it to Heather, and I was ready to just be so disappointed because I so disagree. Because I know that Mark obviously isn't going to be putting him at number 1, and I was about to think, oh, if he picks Heather as number 1, then I've lost. The one that I want to win lost. So I got disappointed and I tuned out.
Hey, you will be pleased to know that before this episode, I actually leaned Heather, because I think she has had an amazing journey. But I got that Shields moment from Nathaniel that I was looking for. He started the competition with a Shields moment, and he ended with a Shields moment. And it was the perfect way to top it off. So I have to give it to him. I'm not about to rob him, because I think he is the most deserving at the end of the day. Yeah. I'm really sorry, Heather, but I have to do it. And now I'm really glad that I followed my gut, because if I would have voted Heather, thinking that, you guys are just gonna vote Nathaniel anyway, so I guess I can just vote her to be nice or something. So I'm glad I didn't do that.
All right, now I gotta hear what Mark said.
Not that I actually would do that, but anyway.
Okay, so now who did Mark vote for?
Okay, so I had a bit of a tough decision to make between 1 and 2, and I had this a couple of seasons ago actually as well, a similar kind of decision, and it was a bit of a head versus heart kind of situation. As one of the two had probably more consistency, especially in the early rounds, and we got to see a lot more of what they were about, and they continued that through pretty much flawlessly throughout the whole competition, up against someone who has delivered a couple of my favourite entries throughout this competition. And with them, they just have a presence which is completely unexpected for what they seem to be like outside of singing, but just in these situations where the original artist would just be them on a stage with a keyboard or with a piano, and how comfortably they're able to float around in those situations and make it their own, and just add some soul and some just a little sprinkle of magic, and it just seems to come so effortlessly to them as well. But you have to look at those early entries from them and think, okay, if you compare those, have we got some issues here? But much like 2 seasons ago, I have gone with my heart rather than my head, and the number 1 spot goes to Heather.
Okay.
Well, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be disappointed if Heather won, because, like I said, I was leaning to her at first, because I think she has had a more interesting journey than Nathaniel. But yeah, like I said, he gave me what I wanted in the end, so I have to give it to him.
See, I want to be the mean guy, and I want to say, like, I would be just a smidge disappointed if it were Heather, because of how much I really loved Nathaniel, especially in this song. But I remember in one of the, I think it was last episode, I absolutely loved him. In fact, I think I fought with you over it because, you know, and so it's, you know, so I think I would have been a little disappointed, but that's not to take away from how absolutely amazing Heather was, especially in this particular episode.
But Andrea, we aren't done, because I mean, if you didn't pay attention, I'm kind of in the middle here. Mark could
You're
convince
not in the middle.
me.
You're not in the middle. You're with me.
Mark could convince me.
No, you're not. No, you're with me. Because Mark could convince you, but I can hurt you.
Are gonna send me a virus? No, you wouldn't be tech savvy enough.
All right, so now what are we going to do with arguing?
I guess we don't really need to count here, right? Because it's a majority vote, and unless I change my mind about Nathaniel, then he is the winner here. Anyway, the official ranking would have been this, so there would still be a tie for Nathaniel and Heather.
Yeah.
And then we would vote between Nathaniel and Heather.
Well, that would be where Mark would try to work his sweet British magic on you and see what we can do about see what happens. Do you want to try to change his vote, Mark?
I mean, I'm tempted.
Okay.
I feel like this might be the last chance I get to do this, so I may as well have a little go, just to make it interesting more than anything else.
But first, I have a question for you, Mark.
Okay.
What was it about this entry that you loved so much more than the previous one? Because you voted her out last round. So what made you change your mind?
Well, we're talking about the overall and every entry that's come in. So the last one will have been Wild Horses, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay. My issue with Wild Horses is a little to do with what the original is and the effect that the original had. I mean, I think you guys were both a lot more keen on Heather's Wild Horses entry than maybe I was. And then, Petri, did you say that it brought you to tears?
Yes.
Is that a movie it was?
Yes, it was that one.
Right, okay, interesting. So for me, it lacked some of the cleanness that I maybe would have liked and would have been used to from that particular song. But just because it didn't have a huge emotive reaction for me doesn't necessarily mean that it hasn't for anyone else, including one of the judges that I'm trying to talk into. But I'm looking at a few of the performances, and a couple in Heather's list have gone down as a couple of my favourites in the competition. One of them in particular, maybe not the favourite of all time out of the 3 series that I've done, but that Tones and I cover was, I mean, that impressed the heck out of me. Because with Heather, you talked about her anxiety. We've got someone who, she's the kind of girl that you would take home to your mother and she'd be very happy with you, is how she seems to come across. But then she takes a song like that, or she takes a song like Alicia Keys, and, you know, both of these artists, it is them on a stage with a keyboard or with a piano, and they're able to capture a crowd and really drive it home. Same thing that Heather's done with a couple of her entries for me. This one with Alicia Keys and Tones and I is one that I've talked about. Wild Horses is clearly one for you, Petri, as well, to throw in the mix. And I mean, that says something. When you have that ability to completely capture someone and to do it so effortlessly as well. I mean, in the Tones and I cover and in Falling, I don't think she was particularly, stretching herself. I don't think anything was particularly out of her range either, but she just has this power and this presence to her voice that is very difficult to find. Well, for Nathaniel, there's a couple of entries that I found kind of weak. I mean, I always get this name wrong, how? So for Diedrich Solitangen, am I saying that right?
Diedrich Solitangen.
But you can say it like,
Close enough, yeah. So with that, I didn't think he did a bad job of staying true to the original artist, but he had a big opportunity there to add so much more to it, and he could have elevated that to the next level. He didn't. He just stayed within his comfort zone. We've had a couple of times when he's he's tried to be someone else. He's tried to be Nick Jonas, and some of the big notes at the end of that were just a bit kind of, that hurts my ears a little bit sharp. His Holy Diver entry, I know I talked about how much I was a huge fan of Dio and he was a big figure in my life, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to hold it hugely against him, because he showed that he could be a real deal metal singer with some of the things that he demonstrated. But he's tried to be Ronnie James Dio. He hasn't done it. There were technical issues. There were times when he hasn't followed the track and it hasn't sounded right. If he's gone up and then down where it should have been down and up, there's a reason that happened and it sounded a little out of place. I think on balance, I'm seeing one artist that has delivered some tracks that have really, really moved me against someone who has tried to be someone else, hasn't quite hit the mark, and because they took on something that was quite challenging and got kind of close, they've got a lot of props for it.
Okay, but hang on. Why do you think Nathaniel has tried to be someone else, necessarily?
Well, it's exactly that. I mean, he's gone to try and throw in a cover for... all right, let me put it another way. He's gone and tackled some huge artists. Pavarotti, Ronnie James Dio. Not huge in terms of reputation, but Nick Jonas being a big pop figure more than anything else. And he's tried to do it in the style of those artists, and in doing so has fallen short, actually. And we've given him props for, okay, we didn't think you had this in you, and you've done a very good job of that. But it's an effort, but it hasn't fully delivered. Like, we can say, okay, yeah, you've done a great job for your voice and your style and what you are as an artist, but it isn't necessarily a great version of the artist that he's trying to be. I would have much rather that he either picked different songs or picked the same songs, but didn't try and follow the original artist so much and just use his own tools and just give us something completely different, put his own slant on it more. And if he'd done that, I would probably be saying the same thing. He'd have a clean sweep. I'd sort of see more of him in his performances.
Okay, I disagree, because I think he did make it his own in the rock round and the judges' choice round. Just like Nick said in the rock round, he sounded more like another rock singer. I don't remember the name, but it was another one. Do you remember who it was, Andrea?
Was it me who said he sounded like Josh Groban?
No, in the rock round, when he sang Holy Diver. Nick said
that wasn't me.
Yeah, Nick said he sounded like another singer. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't remember who it was.
Yeah,
no.
so he kind of made it his own, and just keep in mind that this is a song that you love, that you have listened to repeat for several years. So obviously you're gonna be more critical about that than we. And I think, well, first of all, he had the best performance that round, hands down, for me, and for Andrea too, I think. Yeah. So
it was an abysmal round in general. And then you said in the deliberations for that as well, yeah, there was technical issues, and you're going to mark him down for that. It's like, yeah, I am going to mark him down for it, because there were technical issues, and there were technical issues that meant that he didn't deliver the cover as well as it could have been. Take my personal views out of it. It wasn't technically perfect. And if you're trying to be an artist and you're not quite being that artist, and you've got some technical issues, we can't go and say, oh, that was a phenomenal performance, great job, double thumbs up. No criticism for that.
But to be fair, we haven't had many entries in this competition that have been technically perfect from anyone. So I don't really know what standard you are comparing him to.
Yeah, I mean, can we honestly say that Heather has been technically perfect consistently throughout the competition?
In my mind, you don't necessarily have to be. If you're adding something new and different to a track, I can forego a few technical issues. If you are not quite meeting the mark of what the original is, and you have technical issues, and you're not really putting a huge amount of your own slant on it, then that's personally what I mark down. Whether you guys are different, I'm sure you are. We've all got our own criteria that we look for, but that's something that stands out for me.
I can see that. I get it.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that you don't need to be technically perfect. And Heather always makes songs her own, and she has more of a unique voice than Nathaniel, actually. So I'm still on that edge, if I'm being honest, because you do have some great points in there. So now I'm interested in Andrea. What are your strongest arguments for picking Nathaniel?
Well, I just think for me, especially like this last song and one of the previous songs where I kind of compared him a little bit to a Josh Groban quality. I just got far more emotion. Like I didn't cry during Wild Horses. I'll say that in all honesty. I liked it, but I didn't feel like that emotionally involved in it, where I did feel more emotionally involved, especially in like, in this song. I love, opera, and I just feel like there's so much passion, and because you can try to mimic an artist, and I do see what Mark is saying to an extent, but you cannot mimic the passion, and you cannot mimic emotion. I mean, that has to come from you, and I did feel it from Nathaniel, and I just know that consistently, personally, I've just felt a connection more to Nathaniel than I have to Heather. When it comes to consistency, I think Nathaniel has consistently shown us better quality than Heather, and he's also shown us more versatility. Whereas I think Heather has kind of always been more of the bluesy, and she owns it. I mean, she does own it, but she's more of that bluesy, jazzy, real sultry kind of a sounding, even, trying to go outside of that. She still kind of holds on to that type of a genre. Whereas Nathaniel has shown us that, hey, you know what? I can do rock, and I can do opera, and I can do this, and I, maybe he's, trying a little too hard to be versatile. I could see where Mark is maybe coming from, but I do think that he puts himself in there because there's an emotion and there is a passion that you can't mimic, and it's his own passion and it's his own emotion that we're feeling. We're not feeling like Luciano Pavarotti. I am feeling Nathaniel's version of this song, and that's kind of why I leaned more towards Nathaniel. I mean, if we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty, I think we can honestly say that Nathaniel and Heather are amazing competitors, and we're talking about minute, just like literally minute points that are separating the two. I mean, in my opinion, it's so hard. It was really hard for me to come to the decision because I really love both of them, and I think both of them are deserving. But if we're going to look at past work, and we're going to cumulatively, and we're going to look at this specific one, I still come back to Nathaniel. I mean, I can see where Mark is coming from. I honestly can. But at the same time, like I said, even if he was trying to be exactly like Luciano Pavarotti, even if he was saying, I just want to mimic this guy because I know I can sound good, there's still his emotion and his passion that is being conveyed back to us. Again, you can't fake emotion. You can't fake passion. You can't say, I'm just going to take someone else's emotion and sound like that and try to hope that conveys. I mean, it has to be his own passion and his own emotion that he's conveying to the people listening to him. And I think that he just did that really well in more than one song. I mean, there's a couple songs that I just absolutely got the chills on. And that's why I just keep coming back to Nathaniel.
Yeah, guys, this just got so much harder because I thought you were gonna agree with each other already. So I thought my vote wasn't gonna count. Now I actually have to decide something here.
Oh, I know, it's tough.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let me just put it this way. No matter what the decision comes down to, whoever ends up between the two of them, who ends up getting first place, they're both deserving.
Yeah, definitely.
So they can both be proud that we're fighting this hard, trying to come with a final decision. And it is this hard to make that final decision just because of the fact that they both did so well, and they both had so much talent that we can't be unhappy no matter which way it ends up going, because they're both deserving.
Well, I seem to remember you said you were gonna be disappointed if Nathaniel didn't win.
I am going to be a little disappointed if Nathaniel doesn't win, because I am more emotionally attached to his entries. But I still think that Heather does have a beautiful voice, and if she does end up taking it, which I'm still hoping Nathaniel's going to take it, then I do think she deserves it. I'll be disappointed because I think Nathaniel is still my favorite and he deserves it, but I still think that she also did a really great job, and if we're fighting this hard for it, then you know what, it's a win that she can be proud of, and that it's deserved on that end.
Yeah, and interestingly, as far as an emotional connection goes, I still think Wild Horses was the strongest emotional connection I ever got from any entry in this show. So I'm still on that edge, because as much as I loved Nathaniel's last performance, I mean, it gave me chills and everything, it still didn't make me cry. So I'm kind of wondering, should I vote with my heart or with my brain? Because I still think Nathaniel is the more trained singer. So, I mean,
think if you want to just think really hard about like the past performances, and then think about accumulatively, like you even said yourself that there were a couple times you weren't sure Heather was going to make it to the end. Did you ever feel that way about Nathaniel? Did you ever feel like, yeah, I think Nathaniel's time is running out?
Never.
Consistency wise, how did you feel? Like, do you think that he put forth a more consistent, like I said, this is such a hard decision. It really is. I mean,
I think Nathaniel has been more consistent, but consistency isn't the only virtue to think about. It's also about a journey, and in that regard, Heather has had more of a journey, because she started from almost nothing. I mean, do you even remember her first audition before you heard it in the body of work? I mean, it was really timid, so I didn't really put that much attention to her in the beginning, but then she grew into this amazing singer, and she, like I said, she has such an interesting voice, and I don't know what to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, sorry, what now, Andrea? What are you laughing about? This is a serious
I'm just laughing
moment.
that this is getting so hard.
Yeah.
This is just like, I mean, I don't think we've ever fought this hard over first and second place in
never.
a finale. So.
Hey guys, this is even the first time that we haven't agreed on number one.
Yeah, I really think. I mean, the only thing we've agreed on so far is last place. I mean, that's just, and you know, it's all Mark's fault. That's the problem.
Well, I knew this was going to happen probably before the final entries came in, actually. I could see how the voting was going to go.
Really? But you voted out Heather last round, so how does that work?
Because that was based pretty much on that particular entry. And I mean, Heather has been hit and miss throughout this competition. Listening to her first entry, I did think, I'm surprised we even put that through, to be honest. And that was kind of playing in the back of my mind while I was thinking about, am I okay with this decision that I'm making? And I am okay with the decision that I was making. I would have put her out last time because I didn't feel the emotional connection to Wild Horses, because it wasn't what I expected that song to be. For you, it's been the complete opposite, and it's given you probably the biggest emotional reaction. So that's the thing with songs, it can go either way. The thing that strikes home for me, I think, the most, regardless of what happens with this result, and I was kind of resounding to the fact that Nathaniel would win the thing with how the vote was going to go regardless, and I'm kind of impressed that it's gone on as long as it has. I think from out of this experience, what they've both taken from it, Heather's going to lead this competition knowing exactly what she is as a singer and what her wheelhouse is and what she can push on and work with and make better, and she's going to be able to take a piano or whatever and just go into a bar or whatever and make everyone in that bar turn around and pay attention to her. Nathaniel, while he has probably more talent and more versatility, I don't think he's actually figured that out. I think he still needs to go away and decide what he as an artist is going to be going forward, where he's not just doing covers. But hey, that's an exciting thing for him, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing that journey and how it develops for him.
Yeah, okay, trying to look at this a little bit more objectively, however much you can do that in a singing competition. Nathaniel has had 3 top performances. He has never been in danger of going home, which is a first if he does win for a winner. He's the first one that has never been in the bottom, and he's also the first one to not make it in one season and then come back another season and win. So just from a pure, I mean, that's just very impressive on his parts, and so I'm really torn here, because I really don't want to rob someone tonight, but I'm really having second thoughts here.
I gotta go pretty soon. I have an appointment I gotta get to.
Okay. Oh God, I have to make this decision now. Yeah.
Okay, should I make it easy for you?
Yeah.
I can make it easier for you. I think Mark is kind of, I can see where Mark is coming from, and he might have convinced me to change my vote.
Oh my.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I you know what? I can see. I struggled with first and second place. I honestly, it was breaking my heart to put either in second, to be honest. I really do have an emotional connection to Nathaniel and to his songs, and I think he's amazing. But I can understand where Mark is coming from, where Heather knows who she is. She's grown as an artist. She went from barely rememberable to we are fighting so hard to try to decide between the two of them because they are both so great. And I think he might be convincing me to switch my vote.
Oh my God.
I think maybe he's right that Nathaniel needs to find a little bit more of Nathaniel and decide who he is and say, I can be versatile, but yet I could still be myself. I could still put myself more into the songs. I like versatility, but then there comes a point where, maybe he's right, where you can be versatile without losing yourself. You don't have to show us that I could do opera and rock, but I can still and maybe he does need to grow a little bit more to find out what his genre is and be true to it in every different type of song that he does. So,
but hey,
it's it's tough, but I think Mark might have convinced me.
Yeah, but on one level, I feel really bad for Nathaniel because he has been so consistent, so good throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
I mean, never, like I said, never been in the danger of going home. Always stayed in the top 3 throughout the competition.
Yeah.
For now, I don't know. Is this fair, really?
I know, he's... Like I said, this is like the toughest decision that's ever.
It actually
and Mark threw a wrench in it. If Mark hadn't thrown the wrench in it, I wouldn't be second guessing.
Should we really do this, guys?
Oh, God.
I mean,
one thing to throw in the mix is Nathaniel will be fine. If it does turn out that he doesn't win this thing, he will be absolutely fine. If he wants a career in music, he'll find a way to make it happen because he's got all the tools, and it's a little bit of a case of pointing those in a particular direction for me. But that's my personal view on it. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's right.
Yeah.
And there are different things that I look for.
I think they'll both be fine because they both have. I think all of the ones that are in the top 4 this time, I think they're all going to do great. Just because they didn't win doesn't mean that they, it ends here, because they've all got room to grow. They've all got room to keep performing, keep polishing, and so I think everyone's going to do really great. But I have to say, I am really proud of Heather and Nathaniel for the fact that we are like literally arguing. So I don't think we argue this hard over Sam and
not even Sam and Miriam.
No, I mean I honestly don't think that we even argued that hard over that. So when you got us literally hemming and hawing over here, I you know what? I might actually just change my first place to Heather.
Okay, then I'm sticking to Nathaniel just because I don't want to be responsible.
Now I want to have the 10 minutes to think about it. I mean, I'm really torn about this. I mean, it's just, what should I do? Okay, you guys tell me what to do. Oh, God. You know what? Mark put up a really great argument. He really did.
Yeah.
But you know what? Since this is so hard, I got to follow my heart, and I'm going to stick with Nathaniel. I don't know. Somebody tell me what to do. Somebody tell me what to do. You know what? No, you know what? I think I am going to go with Heather.
Gosh, make up your mind. Like I couldn't make up my mind.
Okay, somebody give me one more reason why. Okay, Petri, you give me one good reason about Nathaniel, and Mark, you give me one more reason for Heather.
Okay, Mark, do you want to begin?
Yeah, okay. Kind of just tying in some of my other points, but 2 entries from Heather that ranked right up there in the 3 seasons that I've done this, in Tones and I and in Alicia Keys.
Okay, what about you, Petri? One more thing from Nathaniel.
Yeah, well, just that he has the ability to give you chills.
Yeah.
He has done that twice, no, I think 3 times for me throughout this competition. That is very rare in this competition. And he has this really strong voice, deep voice that sounds trained already. And he can do pretty much anything from rock to opera to pop. I mean, he has shown the most versatility in this competition, like I've said. And that's what I always look for in this competition, a versatile singer. But then again, Heather has done that as well, and I disagree with Mark about...
You're supposed to be arguing about him.
No, because I'm torn. I can't argue for just one of them. But Heather... But I disagree with Mark about Wild Horses, as you know. I think she did bring a cleaner tone to that than she had in the previous rounds. But then...
Well, I think my thought process is going to be this. This is what my thought process is on this whole situation. I actually like them both. I mean, I think both of them are deserving.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I was 100% for Nathaniel until Mark started bringing in all of the points. You know, I mean, I can see Mark's point about how, like, you know, when he did Luciano Pavarotti, he kind of sounded a lot like Luciano Pavarotti. And when he did, you know, it's like you could bring a little bit of Nathaniel into each genre. Like, pick what kind of genre you are. Like, are you country? Are you rap? Are you rock? Are you opera? And then you could bring certain elements into each song instead of trying to mold yourself into each genre. But and one thing is, like, you know, and he's been very consistent, but I have seen a growth in Heather that you just can't deny. Like, where I said, like before, where she started from not memorable at all to all of a sudden she has this wow factor. Like, wow, she did a great job, but for me, is it too little too late? Kind of like how we said with Scott, like where Scott did so many, you know, improvements. He finally gave us what we've been looking for, especially in this final entry, but it was a little bit too late at this point when you look at accumulatively. That's where I'm getting hung up. That's why I'm still leaning towards Nathaniel in that way, but oh my God, this is a hard decision.
But hey, think about it this way. What precedent does this set for next season? Because is growth more important than consistency? Because if you think about last season, Sam was consistent throughout the competition and Miriam grew, although that was more of a weak points and then she came back, but
because I was gonna say she won, she ended up winning. So you just destroyed your entire point.
And then I think Miriam maybe won it more in terms of when she brought it, she smashed it out of the park with a couple of her entries and stood out with those. We're seeing the same thing again. We're seeing Nathaniel, who's been the more consistent, while with Heather we've got a couple of songs where they were right up there for me in terms of what we heard ever. Brought Petri the Tears with one of them. I mean, she's kind of doing the same thing.
You know, I do see that. You know, now that I'm seeing that, man, this is a tough decision, but you know, I think I'm leaning towards Mark. I think I'm leaning to side with Mark on this.
Okay, just one question then. Can you answer this to me? What is more important, growth or consistency?
It depends. Consistency can be a good thing, but if you don't grow as an artist, you can become stale. You know, if there's not enough of you in the song, then it's just becoming mimicry and stale. Like where Mark is having the issue, whereas she knows who she is. She's given us the same kind of sound. She knows, like, you know, she's jazzy, she's soulful, she's sultry, and she's trying to bring that in each different song that she was giving us, and she was getting better at it. She's growing, and I think that to see her go from nothing that we would have looked at to, wow, we're arguing this hard for her to win, you got to give her some credit for that. And I mean, because you know what, consistency is great, but it also is emotion. And I'm just trying to think.
Yes, emotion.
Yeah. See, my only problem is I got more emotion, I got more feeling, I got more heart from Nathaniel.
I got more emotion from Heather.
You see, that's the thing. And I think a lot of people felt that emotion. I mean, everybody has a different feeling when it comes to different songs, but I think a lot of people felt more passionately about Heather. And that says something about an artist. Too, when you get somebody that's so passionate and so much on your side that...
Guys,
there's got to be something there.
I have made my decision.
Are you going with Heather?
My vote goes to Heather.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was going to end up too.
Okay, congratulations, Mark. You did it. I feel so bad for Nathaniel though. I love him.
But you know what? He shouldn't feel bad.
Honestly, since I first heard his audition, I was like 90% sure he was gonna win. I never saw this coming, so.
No, he shouldn't feel bad because we fought so hard. This was such a tough decision. I don't think we've ever spent this much time arguing about the first two spots. So, I mean, he should be proud that he made it this difficult.
I'm actually shaking.
Oh, Mark, what did you do?
This is the hardest decision ever for top spots, and I never saw this.
And it's all because of Mark.
Yeah.
This was so clear cut until Mark.
Blame Mark.
One more hashtag blame Mark.
Yeah.
Always is, isn't it?
Okay, I think we have made our decision.
That's gonna be it. Yep.
Ooh.
Wow.
Really did not see this coming, and
wow, no.
especially with my vote, I thought, before the finale, I thought I was gonna vote Heather anyway, but then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind again. So, this is the season of twists.
This has got to be the hardest we've ever fought over an ending ever. Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to cut this to show some of it. Bye bye. Part 1.
Part 1.
Nice. Mark, you have crafted a nice intro here, or am I wrong?
You are wrong, but I will intro anyway.
Okay.
I want to pick one person. I want to pick one more.
Yeah, okay.
Never mind. I forgot. I had a brain fart. Forget it. Never mind.
Okay.
I had a total brain fart. It was there and now it's gone. So
he has the frit. Now it begins. He is our once I start, I can't stop.
It happens.
Yeah, I know. But on a personal level, I also admire her for overcoming her and her stuttering. No, that's me.
Thanks for listening. All credits are in the description. Don't forget to rate, comment, share, and subscribe.